Hello. Before we start this, I would like to tell you that all that you are going to see here is freely available online in more than one news agency. You can watch it and you can, let's say, analyze it for yourself. So, before we talked about it, let's just watch it. Okay? It's 3 videos. Let's watch the first.
I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
Part 2.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go and put them behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat. Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording allowed out here. I did not know. There's no recording allowed out here for FBI rights.
Part 3.
And so I came to the press conference to hear what she had to say, to see if I could learn any new additional information. And at one point, I had a question. And let me emphasize, just as we've emphasized the right for people to peacefully protest and to stand up for their First Amendment rights, for our fundamental rights. I was there peacefully. At one point, I had a question. And so I began to ask a question. I was almost immediately forcibly removed from the room. I was forced to the ground, and I was handcuffed.
I hope you find the story of California Senator Padilla interesting. And I will say this. This is how fascism starts. This is how authoritarian regimes remove your power from you. And you know, these videos that are available, you know this event happened some weeks ago. You know that. You all saw it. It was even in Fox News. That apparently is one of the mouthpieces of the current government. You all saw it. And apparently, most of you didn't care. Let me tell you a bit about ancient Rome. In ancient Rome, you had the senators. Before the rise of the emperors and the imperial system, you had a republic. That was, of course, it had its issues. It was corrupt in a sense, or it became corrupt in the latter days of the republic. But when Rome started to murder and banish and arresting their senators, the republic started to die. Because up until then, there was an ethical, moral, even religious idea of the integrity and inviolability of the senator's post. Meaning, you could not strike a senator, you could not forbid him from speaking, only other senators could argue and even quiet or ban or whatever other senators. And those senators, even if it was a proto-republican system in which Rome was divided in districts, in areas, call it however you wish, and then you would have people that were divided into different families, genus. Okay, You can look up this in history, or I can make a video about it and talk with you about this. But the issue here is that there was, in fact, with the Republic, a way of people making their voices be heard. Be it because the senators that were elected by them, for example, by the people, for example, Caesar was elected as a senator of the plebes. Hmm? You had that small way of intervening in the government. The free citizen, with the definition that the Romans gave to it, meaning the oldest son of the household, okay, the pater familias, okay. But even with that, there was that definition, and there was someone to represent the entire family, the clan, the group, that then evolved to other things, okay. But the issue here is that the senators, you did not touch the senators. This is how democracy ends. I will repeat it again ad nauseum. I will repeat it again. This is how democracy ends. When you start having no respect for people, because I know what she claimed later. He did not identify himself. He identified himself. And she just made like this, and off he went. Brutally sent to the ground. And if you tell me this is the American police procedures, well, I know. That is why other police forces in the rest of the world think you are all bananas and that you don't know how to do your job. I know, but send him to the ground, handcuff him, and off he went. And the little doll continued to spew her narrative, a freaking narrative. I'm trying to tone down on my swearing because I know it sometimes can offend some people. Okay? But this is how democracy ends. Okay? This is how it ends. It dies. When you start attacking in this form institutions, you are killing the institution of which it's part. If you start attacking senators, judges, already doing it. If you start attacking veterans, if you start attacking government institutions that are responsible and accountable to perform services inside of the state itself, an education board, FEMA, relief funds, all of that, healthcare, when you start to attack all of that, there is only one goal behind it: to profit from it, which they are doing it, and to kill those institutions that monitor the actions of the government. So the government can do whatever the hell they want. And yet, some of you protested. Of course you did. But if that shit happened in a European country, you would not have thousands in the streets. You would have millions in the streets. You would have toppled governments. You would have governments that would be kicked out. And in some states where the military are the last defense post of democracy, such as two countries that I know of, Portugal and Germany, they are the last bastions of freedom. If everything else fails, they are responsible to restore democracy. It's their job. They are not just here to invade foreign countries. We are here to defend the country, to defend the institutions, to defend democracy. And yet you passively look at this. You passively watch the government removing military heads that might protest against their decisions. You watch them just recently removing the head of statistics or whatever and replace him by someone that will say all that the government wants them to say. And it's very easy to claim that a glass of water is half full when it's half empty. It's very easy to do that. And you all just passively watch this. And as I told you before, you don't need to be violent. In fact, I urge you not to be violent. Violence leads to nothing. Okay, violence leads to absolutely nothing. Unless there are tanks in the street and they are attacking you, okay, unless a situation like that happens, you have no reasons to be violent. You can civil disobedience. You don't obey illegal orders. That is one of the constitutional rights in your country and in mine. We are not forced to obey to illegal orders, laws that are against the Constitution. So, if I was you, I would keep these three little videos in your mind. And when things start to go really south, if you are not careful, this is not a done deal. This is not scaremongering. I'm not saying that. I'm just informing you of what is happening in this case, because apparently some of you don't seem to realize how important this is. Just keep this in mind. Keep this on your little noggin, okay? Well, thank you very much for listening to my rant, and goodbye.